The most astounding fact is the knowledge that the atoms that comprise life on Earth, the atoms that make up the human body, are traceable to the crucibles that cooked light elements into heavy elements in their core. These stars went unstable in their later years. They collapsed and then exploded, scattering their enriched guts across the galaxy. Guts made of carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and all the fundamental ingredients of life itself. These ingredients become part of gas clouds that condense, collapse, form the next generation of solar systems, stars with orbiting planets. And those planets now have the ingredients for life itself. So that when I look up at the night sky, and I know that, yes, we are part of this universe, we are in this universe, but perhaps more important than both of those facts is that the universe is in us. When I reflect on that fact, I look up. Many people feel small because they're small and the universe is big, but I feel big because my atoms came from those stars.
What if you didn't have to do anything about anything at all? Nothing at all to do, nothing at all to do about anything. Yes, make a cup of tea because that doesn't give you any trouble. Whatever it is you have to do, answer the phone, make this appointment, whatever. But it's not accompanied by this idea that there is something that I need to do to be stable in the awareness, because I tell you that is a trap. Forget about it. If you touch this idea, you believe it instantly into existence. And then you have to believe another idea to remove it. So why not drop both ideas in the first place and stay where you are? You're simply here within which all that arises for you, including the sense of spirituality, forget about spirituality. Forget about enlightenment and forget about you also. And what remains here? That which cannot be gotten rid of remains. It's just that, simpler than simple. You're simple. Sometimes we overuse the intellectual faculties. All this knowledge required for spirituality is only memory, timelessness, and simple. If you give up all your notions, all your effort, to try and get somewhere. Just drop it right here now. Because you have the power to do it. Just drop it. Yes. Just like you're sitting in a restaurant full of people clinking glasses and utensils and stuff and talking and there's music, and yet you can have a sweet conversation with your friend sitting across the table. Because you don't let it in. In the same way, you don't let these thoughts in. That there is something that I need to do to stay more present. And the minute you are without this thought, the recognition is here that I simply am.
The function of a guru, that is to say a spiritual teacher in India, is to give you a funny look in the eye. Because you come to him and say, Mr. Guru, I have problems. I suffer and it's a mess and I can't control my mind and I'm miserable and depressed and so on. And he gives you a funny look. And you feel a bit nervous about the way he looks at you. Because he's reading your thoughts. And you know all the dreadful things you thought, and you are rather embarrassed that this man looks right through you and sees them all. But that's not what he's looking at. He's giving you a funny look for quite another reason altogether. Because he sees in you the Brahman, the Godhead, just claiming it's poor little me.
See, you can absolutely involve yourself with everything. The earth that you walk upon, the food that you eat, the water that you drink, the air that you breathe, and the very space in which you exist. You are involved. If you are not involved with the air that you breathe, you would be dead, isn't it? You are anyway involved. You just have to become conscious that this is the only way life happens. You have to see that you're consciously involved. If you're unconsciously involved, it looks like one big burden. If you're consciously involved, it'll become blissful. Do you know, scientifically today we can prove every subatomic particle in your body is right now in communication with the whole cosmos. Such a big phenomena, you're trying to ignore. That is your crime. Your crime is you're trying to ignore such a big phenomena which is the basis of your life and creation. Because you ignore that, you suffer. Let your involvement become indiscriminate. You don't have a perspective of who you are. You think too much of yourself. As a physical form, what are you in this cosmos, tell me? In your home you may be something, on the street not much, in the town nothing. In the cosmos you're not even a speck of dust. Please get the perspective right. As a physical existence, you're really nothing. Isn't it? If you understand this, you would know, you would look at everything with absolute wonder and involvement.
Modern science is just now coming around to the conclusions held by yogic science for millennia, to an explanation of our universe that's going to take our understanding to a whole new level. And that is that both the substance and the intention of the universe come from a deeper reality than the material one we normally perceive with our minds and senses. And that reality is consciousness, an all-pervading, blissful awareness inherent in everybody and everything. Just as your own consciousness is the essence of your own mind, cosmic consciousness is the essence of the entire universe. It exists within everything, and everything exists within it. Essentially, everybody and everything is part of and full of consciousness. Imagine that. However, we've largely given up on the idea of a higher consciousness in our modern worldview. Take the case of a light bulb, for example. A light bulb is capable of shining light on the room around it, but not on the power which illuminates it. In the same way, we're capable of comprehending the world around us, but not the consciousness which animates us. It's beyond the normal functioning of the mind, beyond words, beyond even thought itself. The core of our being is not something that can even be spoken about, let alone thought of. I think we're all familiar with this saying by Descartes, I think therefore I am. But this is what yogic philosophy says. when I stop thinking, then I really am.
I think that we have taken far too much responsibility for what is happening, and that what we took to be a staircase we were climbing is actually an up escalator. And if you will stop climbing, you will notice that it does not impede your upward progress, because the ground you're standing on is moving you toward the goal. And I think that this idea, which may be the proof that I'm bonkers, requires a fairly radical reorganization of consciousness. Because what I'm saying is the universe was not born in a fiery explosion from which it has been being blasted outward ever since. The universe is not being pushed like that from behind. The universe is being pulled from the future toward a goal that is as inevitable as a marble reaching the bottom of a bowl when you release it up near the rim. You know, if you do that, the marble will roll down the side of the bowl, down, 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 and eventually it will come to rest in the lowest energy state, which is the bottom of the bowl. Now, bear in mind what the competition is peddling. The competition is peddling the idea that the universe sprang from nothing in a single moment for no reason. Now, whatever you think about that, notice that it's the limit case for credulity. Do you understand what I mean? I mean, if you can believe that, it's hard for me to imagine what you would balk at. If we were to sit down and say, let's see who can think of the most unlikely thing that could possibly happen, I submit to you, nobody could top the Big Bang. It is the improbability of improbabilities. It is the mother of all improbabilities right there. So I'm suggesting something different. I'm suggesting that the universe is pulled toward a complex attractor that exists ahead of us in time, and that our ever-accelerating speed through the phenomenal world of connectivity and novelty is based on the fact that we are now very, very close to the attractor.
Now, it's difficult to imagine a society more different from the society of ancient Egypt than our society today. We hate visionary states in this society. In our society, if we want to insult somebody, we call them a dreamer. In ancient societies, that was praise. And we have erected huge apparatuses of armed bureaucracies who will invade our privacy, who will break down our doors, who will arrest us, who will send us to prison, sometimes for years, for possessing even small quantities of psilocybin or substances like DMT. And it's not as though our society is opposed in principle to altered states of consciousness. I mean, billions are being made by the unholy alliance of psychiatrists and big pharma in overprescribing drugs to control so-called syndromes like depression or attention deficit disorder in teenagers. And we have a love affair in our society with alcohol. We glorify this most boring of drugs. And of course we love our stimulants, our tea, our coffee, our energy drinks, our sugar, and huge industries are built around these substances, which are valued because of the way they alter consciousness. But what all these approved altered states of consciousness have in common is that none of them contradict or conflict with the basic state of consciousness valued by our society, which I would call the alert, problem-solving state of consciousness. But I think everybody realizes that the promise of a society over-monopolistically based upon this state of consciousness has proved hollow. And that this model is no longer working. That it's broken in every possible sense that a model can be broken. And urgently we need to find something to replace it. The vast problems of global pollution that have resulted from the single-minded pursuit of profit. The horrors of nuclear proliferation. The specter of hunger, that millions every night go to bed starving, that we can't even solve this problem despite our alert, problem-solving state of consciousness. And look what's happening in the Amazon, the lungs of our planet, this precious home of biodiversity. The old-growth rainforest being cut down and replaced with soybean farms so we can feed cattle, so that we can all eat hamburgers. Only a truly insane global state of consciousness could allow such an abomination to occur. And I did a back-of-an-envelope calculation during the Iraq War. It seems to me that 6 months' expenditure on the Iraq War would have solved the problem of the Amazon forever. Would be sufficient to compensate the peoples of the Amazon so that no single tree ever needed to be cut down again to garden and look after that amazing resource. But we can't make that decision as a global community. We can spend countless billions on warfare, on hatred, on fear, on suspicion, on division. But we can't get together the collective effort to save the lungs of our planet. When I've asked shamans about the sickness of the West, they say it's quite simple. You guys have severed your connection with spirit. Unless you reconnect with spirit and do so soon, you're going to bring the whole house of cards down around your heads and ours. And I stand here invoking the hard-won right of freedom of speech to call for and demand another right to be recognized, and that is the right of adult sovereignty over consciousness. There's a war on consciousness in our society, and if we as adults are not allowed to make sovereign decisions about what to experience with our own consciousness while doing no harm to others, then we cannot claim to be free in any way, and it's useless for our society to go around the world imposing our form of democracy on others while we nourish this rot at the heart of society. It may even be that we're denying ourselves the next vital step in our own evolution by allowing this state of affairs to continue, and who knows, perhaps our immortal destiny as well.
When you look at a computer screen that's picking up the internet, the pictures can look solid. They can look like a solid world on the screen. And in the same way, we are picking up information from this, what I call the cosmic internet. The five senses are turning it from vibrational information into electrical information, which then is decoded by the brain into this world that we think is outside of us, because that's the illusion, but actually only exists in our head, only exists when we decode it. This reality only exists in this physical sense when it's observed. What I would say, when we've decoded it from the information construct into this holographic reality we call the physical world. And this is why quantum physicists look inside the atom, which they say, of course, atoms make up this physical world, but inside the atom is nothing. It's just empty. How can something that's not solid make up a solid world? Answer, it doesn't. It's all an illusion in the decoding process. So, if someone said to me, what is this universe at its foundation, I would say, it's information. What is the wireless internet? It is information. The computer takes that information, turns it into a collective reality. We take that information through the body computer and turns that into this apparent reality. Only instead of being on a screen, the screen is in here. When we look out of the window, we might see a blue car go past the house. Someone else will see the same blue car because we're all decoding the same information. What then happens, this is where the uniqueness comes from, we then decide what we think of that car. We then view this decoded reality in different ways, and that's what makes us different.
the understanding of Zen, the understanding of awakening, the understanding of, well, we'll call it mystical experience, is one of the most dangerous things in the world. And for a person who cannot contain it, it's like putting 1,000,000 volts through your electric shaver. You blow your mind and it stays blown. Now, if you go off in that way, that is what would be called in Buddhism a pratyeka Buddha, private Buddha. He's one who goes off into the transcendental world and is never seen again. And he's made a mistake from the standpoint of Buddhism, because from the standpoint of Buddhism there is no fundamental difference between the transcendental world and this everyday world. The Bodhisattva, you see, who doesn't go off into a nirvana and stay there forever and ever, but comes back and lives ordinary everyday life to help other beings to see through it too, he doesn't come back because he feels he has some sort of solemn duty to help mankind and all that kind of pious cant. He comes back because he sees the two worlds are the same. He sees all other beings as Buddhas. He sees them, to use a phrase of G.K. Chesterton's, but now a great thing in the street seems any human nod, where move in strange democracy the 1,000,000 masks of God. It's fantastic to look at people and see that they really, deep down, are enlightened. They're it. Their faces are the divine. And they look at you and say, oh no, but I'm not divine, I'm just ordinary little me. You look at them in a funny way, and here you see the Buddha nature looking out of their eyes straight at you, and saying it's not. And saying it quite sincerely.
If I could paint for you, I would